Squiggly the Squirrel's Day at the Dump. Chapter 4. The Little Econ. "Well, why'n't you say so in the first place? Walk this way," Gaetano said as he strutted into the woods, followed reluctantly by the little group. Going deeper and deeper into the woods, no one spoke, and except for the leaves crunching under their feet, the only sounds were crickets and the buzzing of mosquitoes. "Are you sure this is the way to go?" Bob whispered in a trembling voice. "It is kind of spooky," said Squiggly. "Hey guys, don't worry, you're with me," said Gaetano, who also sounded a little bit frightened. They began to hear the sound of slowly running water just as Gaetano turned and seemed to be heading in that direction. "Is there a stream here?" "Yeah, lady, only it ain't a stream. It's the Little Econ River." Nearing the river, Gaetano slowed and motioned to the little band to slow down. Putting a finger to his lips, quietly said, "Shh." The group came to a complete stop. Except for the wind and the trees, there was absolutely no sound. Their heads turned in unison as they looked in the direction Gaetano was pointing. Gaetano tiptoed quietly back into the forest, motioning for all of them to follow him, and he whispered softly, "Boy, that was close." "What was close?" asked Bob. "What? Didn't you see him?" "See whom? Or should that be who?" asked Marigold. "Well, for crying out loud, it was Edgar lying over there." "You mean that loggy thing was a person?" asked Squiggly. "Yeah, he's a person, all right. Edgar is an alligator." "No, scratch that. Edgar is a mean alligator." Dear, what exactly is an alligator?" asked Marigold. "An alligator is the meanest thing in these woods," said Gaetano, "and his favorite food is birds and squirrels." "You must be joking, dear boy. I've never heard of an alligator," said Marigold. "Edgar ain't no joke. As a matter of fact, he'd love to taste a nice leg of hoity-toity English seagull." "Now, Gaetano, stop frightening Matty," said Reginald. "Yeah, well, you guys just stay away from the river or you'll be someone's dinner." "How far is it till we find Tess, Gaetano?" "Well, Squiggly, she ought to be around here somewhere, little buddy." "OMG. Oh my gosh. Can you PSU please shut up a minute? I'm TTC, trying to concentrate." They all looked towards the voice, and right behind a small fern they saw what looked like a slowly moving painting of flowers. "Hey, Tess, I brung these guys to see you." "Yeah, right, Gaetano. WDYW, what do you want?" "You know I'm BY, busy, and hate to be bothered with trivial stuff. I have to enter my stuff on Facebook and MySpace and CMEM, check my email, my blog, and my messages. I really don't have any time to fool around with you and your scroungy-looking friends." "Aw, Tess, don't be that way. I'll bring you some vegetables from the dump later if you can help this little guy." "Help? What kind of help? I don't have lots of time, you know." Slowly Tess appeared from behind the fern. Her tortoise shell had once been painted with flowers of every description. There were fading daisies, daffodils, roses, and even a few orchids. In the 70s she had lived in an apartment with a bunch of hippies. She carried a cell phone and a pencil, and on her face were the thickest glasses anyone had ever seen. When you looked right at her, they made her eyes appear as big as saucers. "Ring, ring, ring. EM. Excuse me," said Tess as she looked at the phone, sat back on her shell, and started pushing buttons with the pencil. When she was finished, she looked up at the little group and said, my, what a strange bunch you are. We have a couple of bedraggled old seagulls, a nasty-looking little possum, a punky-looking raccoon, and a very frightened little squirrel. What is this forest coming to?" "Now see here, madam, I am not accustomed." Marigold stopped in mid-sentence as Tess gave her a stern glare from her dark eyes. "As I was saying before I was SRI so rudely interrupted, I have a few minutes before I have to send my daily blog, so tell me how I can be of assistance." They all started speaking at once. "This dear boy, my friend, this little squirrel, I fell out of the tree." No, Tess shouted. "OAAT, one at a time. We'll start with you," she said, pointing the pencil at Squiggly. I was at school and fell out of a tree and into a big thing that brought me here. I need to get home because my mom is going to be worried. I see. Does anyone have anything, Dad? Well, we had just finished a transatlantic flight and we're having lunch when we were very rudely interrupted. Does anyone have anything important to add? Said Tess, once again silencing Marigold with a stern glare. The seagull sheepishly adjusted her hat, pulling the brim even farther down over her face. When she had finished adjusting the hat, she began fiddling with her pearl necklace as she stared down at the ground. W-Y-N. What's your name? Tess asked gently. Squiggly, ma'am. Well, Squiggly, what can you tell me about where you live? Do you have an address or an intersection? I don't know, ma'am, but the city is Winter Park. Well, we'll need more than that. Winter Park is a very big place. Do you know the names of any streets near you? Well, there is a blue sign at the corner by my friend Lenny's house. Can you remember what it says? Uh-huh, it says... The entire group held their breath as Squiggly tried to remember. Aw, I can't remember. Think, Squiggly. I'm trying. I think it says oh yeah, it says St. Dunstan. VG. Very good. Now what does it say besides that? Squiggly closed his eyes tightly and tried to think. Oh, phooey. It says, Bankery! Hooray! They all yelled. Well, now we're getting somewhere. Tess started punching furiously at the telephone with the pencil, squinting, punching a few more times. Eureka! There it is. What is? Asked Bob. Well, it's Squiggly's house, you silly goose. In that small box. Don't be ridiculous, said Marigold. It's way too small for a house. No, not the house, you twit. It tells me the location of the house. No need to be difficult, Tess, said Reginald tactfully. Matty just doesn't understand these modern gadgets. Well, let me see how to get there from here, Tess said as she began pushing more buttons. No, that won't work. Too many roads. Let's see now. That might work, but no, you'd have to cross the river. Oh my, it looks like there's no way to get you home from here. They're all too dangerous, Tess said sadly. But there has to be. I just have to get home to my mom. Well, I don't know why I can't cross the road. I do it all the time, and I'm still here. Yes, Gaetano, but you're big enough for the machines to see you and move themselves out of your way. A small squirrel might get caught between one of them. Yeah, I guess that's right. And then never cross a road. It's too dangerous. With some frustration, Squiggly asked, Well, then why can't I cross the river? I can swim. Well, duh, so can Edgar, said Gaetano. Did someone call my name? Lisped Edgar. They had all been so busy trying to get Squiggly home that no one had noticed that the large alligator had crept within just a few yards of them. Run! Yelled Gaetano. The raccoon quickly darted up a low-lying limb and onto a big cypress tree, followed closely by Bob, Squiggly, and the two gulls. What was all that about? Said Marigold impatiently. Oh dear, is he going to eat Tess? Nah, her shell's too hard.